Hi, everybody. Welcome. My name's Terry, and this channel is called Holding Your Space. And we have the fabulous Diana with us. Dun, 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 dun. Oil painter. Welcome, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you. It's so good to see you.
Yeah, so good to be seen. And thanks for being here again. So, today we're going to talk about purging because everybody's kind of going through this thing called the purge. And I feel like purge is like a really extreme word, but there are times when it really sets. And it's kind of a harsh word, but it kind of fits what's going on.
It does, you think about it, you hang on to this stuff for so long because you like it and you don't want to get rid of it. And you look at it and you go, but I'm not using it. And you go, but it's so cool and it might just come in handy. And I can't part it with it now because if I do, the minute I do, I'm going to want it. That's how I talk myself out of it all the time.
Yeah, I do too. And I do the same. I mean, I used to have an antique store and then I had a booth. And so I'd buy things and I had stuff. I've got stuff. Let's just say I've got stuff.
The good
And
stuff.
then, yeah, some of it is, some of it not so much. I like it, but who else will? And then there's also like an emotional purge that we're all going through. I feel like a lot of it's here. And then there's also a spiritual purge to that
Right.
of letting go, releasing, surrendering.
It's the old adage, just rip the band-aid off. Rip it off,
Yeah.
it's over with. Well, it doesn't matter if it's emotional and or physical or possessions.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot. And we thought this would be a good thing. Number one, because we're both going through it. But a lot of you guys are too. So everybody's kind of been talking about it this week. And Medusa, I hope, or no, not Medusa. It's Mangled Unicorn. I hope you're okay, Jacqueline. I see that you said you fell, so I just want to
Oh,
send you lots of hugs at school drop off. So lots and lots of love to you, Barbara Berkman. Good morning, everybody here coming in. Good morning. Good to see you. I do see Medusa's here, so that's why that was good. And Leona's here. Hi, Leona. We're glad you found the channel. So you're not um, streaming today, are you, Diana?
no, I'm not. I wasn't thinking when I saw the link to do
Yeah.
that, but that's okay. I'm here with
Yeah,
you.
it's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool, man. So
yeah,
you can download it later in a minute.
yeah.
So I know Medusa, that's funny. I don't know where I got that. Hypnicity high. So
You're
Medusa,
looking at my hair.
yeah, my hair. Well, I've got wet hair. I don't know about you, but my hair. I just had a shower. I was out in the garden,
Oh,
purging a bunch of vines. So,
okay.
oops, sorry. And so, purging at its core means the intentional or natural release of what no longer serves you, whether it's physical matter, emotional baggage, mental patterns, or spiritual blockages. It's often part of a transformation. Before new energy, experiences, or growth can take root, the old must be cleared. And I feel like we're all right on target because this is the year of the snake, and we're really shedding a lot.
Oh my gosh, I forgot. It's the year of the
I did
snake.
too until I was thinking about that this morning for this show.
That's perfect. No
Yeah.
wonder I drew the alder card yesterday. In the Wildwood Tarot. That's a deck that I only use for myself anymore. And the king of arrows is the snake pit. There's a couple of them, and they're struggling for who's going to be the top king. That explains a lot.
Well, yeah, and the snakes have really been coming into my visions too. So the snake people. Oh, Kieran's got a closet full of her mom's clothes. She's been gone since 2020. Yeah, yeah. And Barbara's buying fairy houses for a new fairy garden. You've already purged, Barbara. You're way ahead of us.
Yeah.
KD, the blue snake, is heard, wondered about it, has got a pic of it. Let me see. I'm seeing a lot of red snakes, KD, in my visions. Got a pic of one spiritual, supernormal, always sitting in my right hand. Yeah, I've got this. I'm doing a lot of uh, inner earth work, and the inner earth shamans that are coming into me have very dark skin and red snake tattoos all over them.
Who's the goddess of the multiple arms, and the snake is in her arm, in one of her hands, isn't it?
Well, there's Medusa, there's Durga.
Durga.
Yeah, Durga Ma.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. The snake is a sign of power, and often feminine power too.
Yeah, it is. And there's also transmutation, transfiguration, transformation. What's the other one? There's another one,
There's transhumanism.
right? And
Yeah,
transfusion. Because
yeah.
how many people take snake venom and let the snake bite them in order to have a tolerance, using that venom as a uh, what did they force us to get? uh,
Oh, yeah, the COVID shot,
as a right.
MMRI or whatever it's called.
Then it's a bit of a protection from you, because you've already got a little bit of the virus. You don't get the virus.
Yeah, and I think on one of the Raiders of the Lost Arks they did that too. Somebody did that on one of those
Oh, yeah,
action shows.
somebody did that the other day. Who works for that funny guy that lives in Washington,
No,
D.C.
right. And Medusa, snakes are good.
Yeah,
100%, my
right.
friend.
Here,
Yeah,
chomp my arm.
yeah. Medusa is definitely one of my favorite archetypes too.
Right.
Kelly is just back home from infusion. So, Kelly, we love you. Kelly
You,
has been going through a lot of purging,
yeah,
emotional purging.
get some rest.
Yeah. Can everybody hear Diana okay, or is it just me?
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna disconnect the Jabra, because it was
Hi, Jenny. Nope, can't hear a word now. It's okay.
Can you hear me now?
Oh my God, I can hear you so well now. Yeah.
Yeah, I had to move the Jabra out of the way. It was picking up an echo from being too close to the
Oh, yeah.
screen. So that's okay. And I can hear better this time too. Sometimes that is a perfect charm. I love it. And sometimes maybe the more people that are, they're better. And when it's just two of us, I don't need it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Maybe less is more. Um, okay, so you wanted to talk about one of your guides today, one of the chiefs.
One of the chiefs, yes. Oh my gosh. And even before we get in, well, this is connected because I had Reiki today. And normally, the day I go to the chiropractor, right afterward, I have a massage and a Reiki treatment, so that they're all connected, and the medicine from one goes with the medicine from the next. But my masseuse had to cancel yesterday, so I went today. And we were just talking about purging.
Hmm.
So there was such a purging for me today. But it is also connected to Chief Tonquish. He is local to the area here because it was part of his travel, but down in Detroit. His main territory was in the outskirts of Detroit, Livonia, and Plymouth, in that area. And he lived in the 1800s. Now, his name Tonquish means old robe, but he inherited his chiefhood from his father, who was Tonquish. And of course, it's the Tonquish arm of Saginaw Potawatomi Indians. And this whole area is on the Rouge River, which is, now famous for the Ford, first Ford plant and all that other business. At any rate, he has been with me since I was old enough to start speaking. I can never remember a time that I didn't see him.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I would talk to him. He'd be standing outside my bedroom window, and I'm playing the piano on the windowsill, and the screen is open, praying for air to come in, because you're talking 1950s, right? No air conditioning in the house. And my mother would be screaming, "Go to sleep in there. Who are you talking to? There's nobody there. Are you nuts?" Right. Well, unbeknownst to me is the story of what happened to him. I didn't even know his name back then. I didn't know his name until about 2009, something like that. And my brother's house has this extreme amount of activity. And so I was doing a house clearing for him. And in the time that I was doing that, I saw this whole tribe, and the Rouge River isn't that far away from his home. And I saw the river, and that it's this a thoroughfare to come up here to the, to the greater lake itself, but to have dealings with the Saginaw that were up here. And a trade route for them just in general, because you are talking about the 1800s, not the older history, but the time of the 1800s, like 1840s, 1850s. And I'm in a longhouse, and I can see that this is where the shaman resides of the tribe. And Chief is talking to me, and I become Chief. And he gives me the whole emotional experience that he was going through. Now he's lying on one cot, and his head is turned, and tears are streaming down his face. And as I look, I see a teenage son, an older teenage, 18, 19, something in that age row. And he's motionless and dead. And the shaman is, you know, shaking a rattle over him and all of this, trying to bless him as he goes on his travels, preparing him for funeral. And Tonquish is just crying. But at this point, I still don't know his name. Nor did I know what I found out afterwards. So when I came out of this and was clearing the house of this energy, and then, of course, went outside and walked the property perimeters and sang and tried to release all of the grief that was on all of this property, I was explaining it to my brother. And it was hard to explain. And he said, well, that's because this is the Tonquish Trail.
Oh.
Which I had no idea of.
Was it like a trail? Oh, go ahead.
Well, all of these years, I had no idea of this trail that runs right through there. There is a 3-mile trail that has been preserved that runs through Edward Hines Park, but is also on the Rouge River. The Rouge River is right near my brother's house, and all of these places are converging right where I was.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd already told him this, and that was all he had to tell me, was that this is the Tonquish Trail. So then I went into my normal rabbit hole and came up with all of this information. And what had happened there is his son was shot in the back by pioneers, settlers. They're not pioneers anymore, they're settlers. This is also an area in which one of the cauldrons for the Three Fires Confederacy, which is Potawatomi, Saginaw, and The other tribe is escaping me right now, Ojibwa. And so one of them are located in this area. They just don't know where to dig. Well, they need to dig in this cemetery and start there, but they won't because there's Revolutionary soldier buried in there and a couple from the Civil War and all this other places that this is hallowed ground when hallowed ground really meant something. So are not going to go in there to disturb it, but they're going to find it in that area somewhere. So having seen all of this played out, I'm absolutely convinced to this day that that is where the shaman's hut was. They
Wow.
had this big reservation, and the settlers in Plymouth, his house is right on the dividing line between Plymouth and Livonia, and they didn't want anything to do with it. You get out of here. This is our land now.
Yeah.
And Tonquish stood his ground, and he and his son and a couple of others with no armament went to have a discussion. And Tonquish knew. So in his language, he hollered at his son, run, get out of here now, because he knew something was going to erupt. And they shot him in the back. They shot
Wow.
the kid in the back. So everything that I had
Yeah.
seen played out was exactly what was going on the day all of that went down. And Tonquish himself was beaten and died of his beatings.
I'm so sorry. Do you know what era or what date that was? Like with
18,
fall
the
or
book, I did find an old book that was written by a resident who
Mhm.
lives in Plymouth or had lived in Plymouth. I don't know if she's still with us or not. I can't find the second book. She wrote another book to it, but it's all of the history of the area, but mostly dealing with Tonquish arm of the tribe of the Potawatomi
Yeah.
are here. So I'd love to find it. The date
Yeah.
is in there. It's 18 something, somewhere around the Civil War. I cannot remember if it's before or after. I want to say 1876, but don't quote me. But anybody who looks it up can find it somewhere in there, in that
Wow.
time. And
Yeah.
so that came back to me today.
Mhm.
Now I know my brother won't hear this, and if he does, he was meant to. The thing is when I told him this, he didn't tell me you're nuts, because he knows that woo woo is a thing, but it's like, I'm never good enough. I have to prove myself. Right.
Yeah.
So he didn't accept it. He didn't give it respect. And his house is still in the chaos with all of this energy going around because he didn't respect the information that Tonkwitz gave him. I was just the channel.
Yeah. It's family, siblings in
Yeah.
particular, because
Uh,
we grow
in
up since
particular.
children and
Yeah.
they know how to push buttons and they don't listen a lot of times. I mean, not that I say things that to my family that, but
Well, I know.
we are who we are with our family, right?
And
Um,
okay, so being an astrologer, I
yeah,
know because I have done his chart. He'll ask me, and then it just like goes in one ear and out the other if he's even heard anything. But
yeah,
he is a Virgo. His birthday is August 26th. He should be a perfectionist. He is, but he's a perfectionist at one thing: guitars. He's a
um,
perfectionist at everything he does, but his heart, his love, and his name just happens to be Gregory, Pope Gregory, Saint Gregory. He's the
mm,
musician of the angels, right? He,
yeah,
he that's all he can do because Pluto is conjunct at that same 2 degrees as his sun in the second house. Therefore, Wang Chung, Wang Chung, Wang Chung is about all he knows because that's what's in his heart.
yeah,
And as great as he is at everything else he does, he can't get out of that chaos because Pluto is right there, always in it. Are you sure? And he'll, especially with sibling, older sibling, he will argue with me because he cuts me off and doesn't listen to the whole story of where I really want him to put the tree. He plant, he had to transplant a couple of shrubs for me. He dug the hole, put it right where I told him not to put it. Well, you pointed. No, I was telling you, you're standing on that side of the room and I'm on this side of the room. How are we pointing in the same spot? We're not. So he went to do it a second time and he looked at me and I'm watching out the window shaking my head because now he's putting it by the barn. I'm like, he comes and gets me. You better come out and stand where you want me to put this.
Yeah, yeah.
Before he has to dig 3 holes.
Well, and family gives us opportunities to purge too. So we're talking about purging today, everybody, and
Yeah.
Particularly emotional purging. And both you and I were in on a healing this week too with Annie Bond, and I
Yes.
did an emotional release purge with her this weekend too, an all day Saturday course, and I felt I brought up a lot of things that needed healing, and I feel like there's so many of us here that they feel like we purged of different things, and whether it's the land or our emotions and how we're tied to them. It's changing with everybody, and we're having opportunities right now to do this purging, and it's okay. There's some people like your brother. He doesn't want to purge. He's not ready to, and he's right where he's supposed to be, and you love him where he's at. He's your brother.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, so when I was in this Reiki today, it would take too long for me to try and truly explain everything. But um, my practitioner is fantastic. She needs a T-shirt that says "I give good Reiki." Anyway, um, she works with Raphael a lot, particularly when she's working on me because he's one of my major archangels. And it was like given labor. I was in labor. I was doing Lamaze because I was in so much pain. And what was going on was this area in my hip, there's like all these little spots. And what she was doing, that Raphael was actually doing, was he was pulling a thread and she's pulling it out like Trappy. And it was like a dream catcher. But as he pulled, that tightened up. And that tightening is what has to happen in order to bring the out of joint hip back into where it's supposed to be, right?
Oh,
So
brilliant.
as that was going on, I couldn't breathe. I started doing Lamaze because I was going to pass. I couldn't breathe. I was in so much agony. And then all as she kept doing that and throwing this taffy out and pulling it, it finally got to the point where I had to put my leg up. They're on top of a pillow, so they're already softened. The bending areas are softened. They're not stiffened out. But I had to take that right leg and make it into a teepee because I couldn't take it. It was just, oh my God, get these things closer. And that was that thread pulling. That was that thread pulling. And so she said he's left a hole for drainage because you still need to have that. And so then I started thinking about a picture I had drawn that I had seen the very first time I went to her. And it's of this blob with sharp, like if you've ever seen a virus attack a red blood cell under a microscope, it like crawls out and jabs itself into the blood cell and then they become one and it still has all these stringy apertures coming out that are live. And I mean, that's what I saw on the wall behind her head. So I drew it out so that I could always just put it right on the spot where I know it is when I'm doing my own things, and trying to get rid of it and all that. So when she was finished, she said, I know you need some time. And then the floodgates opened and the whole Tonquish thing came over. I must have been alive here then too. I must have,
Mhm.
maybe I was him. I don't know. I can't be objective. That's too much ego in my own Akashic reading. I don't know if I was him or if I was the shaman or a tribal member or his wife or what. But that came out. All of everybody's things for today. The tears just wouldn't stop. That
Yeah,
purge, that the tears are such a great way to help purge, right? And the
mhm.
one thing I remembered to do was sending great amounts of love to my brother.
That changes everything, doesn't it? Yeah, I've been through that with and luckily I got to vent with you guys, some of our friends here, and I was able to release a lot of stuff that I was holding in about somebody, and after that, I realized the best thing I can do is just send waves of love to that person, to that individual, and it changed the entire dynamic of the
Yeah.
house. And it's huge to love somebody where they're at, and we know that emotionally, right? Or, our brains know that sending love is gonna change the everything. But we do need to purge sometimes and just vent. And when you're venting for somebody, you guys, that's not always easy, is it? To
No, but
listen to everything.
if we don't
Yeah.
do that vent, what happens?
Right, and so, like, oh my golly, Jacqueline Mingle Unicorn always says, "Gird your loins, here she comes." And when I come before I come into meditation in the mornings, I love that, Jacqueline, and it's like, it's so true. Gird your loins, like, put your protection up if a friend needs to vent and let her rip, and we hold space for each other. And we kind of just watch things happen with witnessing awareness and not being tied to the outcome, but there to be quiet and to listen to people and what they have to say. And
Right.
it's such a gift we can offer each other through this time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, and Barbara, whenever my brother calls, I can feel myself tensing up. Yeah, and I love this dancing makes you feel better. There's so many things that we have that can make us feel better about that, but knowing when we walk into certain situations that we do have to gird our loins and and, and put your armor on.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
You,
yeah,
yeah. If we don't, we can't be objective if we don't vent the crap we're dealing with. What
yeah.
we
You got to let her rip.
right with our little ego is
Yeah,
like, well, what the hell, where am I in all of this, blah blah blah, and
yeah.
all of that. We all go through that, no matter how gifted we are. We still go through that because we aren't
We're
we,
human.
we're human. We, whether we like it or not, we still have that human factor in it. Hybrid, yeah,
Yeah,
but not on this planet.
right? Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Guardian energy vampires. Hi, Mark.
Yeah,
Yeah, for
right.
sure. It's just, there's a lot in that. And family, like we said earlier, family knows how to get us better than anybody, but they
Hmm.
know how to love us better than anybody too.
Hmm.
So there is that. And, I think about that and I think about, certain family members and how they've been there for me so many times in my life, and I send them so much love. Um, and then there's times that we've really torn each other apart in different ways. Not all of us, but some of us. So, and friendships too, you know?
Yeah. and,
Yeah.
and you know we we have to have boundaries
Yeah.
for our individualness, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes you just shut all of the devices off because you need to recuperate yourself.
Oh my God. So that's huge. Yeah. Going into silence and just it's another huge purge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Taking a sauna, gardening, um, doing silent meditation. And for some of us, silent meditation is going to look like dancing.
Yeah.
And some of us it'll
Yeah.
be walking through the woods, but turning off the things,
Right.
whatever
You turn
the
you
things.
right. It is silent. If you are connecting with the music, you're quiet. Your body might be shaking all over, but baby, you. I'm singing. I can sing, and I can dance, but I can't dance while I'm singing, and I can't sing while I'm dancing.
Yeah.
All of the error that I possess is involved in one action or the other.
Yeah.
For me,
Huge.
it's the hardest thing to do.
Yeah. And Barbara's talking about not being so good with boundaries. And boundaries are something we kind of learn. Um, the other thing is listening to each other as we're purging and not having an outcome, not listening with an outcome, being objective. And we can repeat back a few things that somebody said to us. And I said, I hear you saying this, but we don't have to offer anything as far as an outcome
Right.
until they ask us for one. And that's huge. And then that helps us to listen to the outcome or helps us to listen to them because listening without them, which we're empaths, we want to help and want to give them something to help them with, but just listening.
And that or letting them figure it out for themselves by shutting devices off, right? I mean,
And that happens. Yeah.
and if you don't answer, if you don't hear it, you won't answer. If you don't answer, what are they going to do? They're going to have to rely on themselves. I mean, it just has to happen. And healing ourselves is so important in order to be able to carry on. Now, some of the problem with retaining your boundary that you think you set is
Mhm.
that I think we get confused and we think that other people have pushed us into this fencing.
100%.
It's not my boundary set, it is the one they set for me. And
Yeah.
that shouldn't be jealousy. That shouldn't be feeling like you've given somebody else's power away. Take
Yeah.
control, right? Put a fence on the other side if you want, right? You can tear down what's on your side.
Hmm.
I mean, if
Yeah.
you look at it in territory speak, that's all you got to do. But it's not. It's just I can't do it right now. I'm otherwise occupied. I'm in the shower. I'm not answering the phone. I'm supposed to answer the. Can I? I got another one. Okay. So a friend of mine, Diane, and I'm Diana, and we're having. She's been a friend since we were all teenagers, and now my cousin and his wife live very close. She's having a party. This is Memorial Day weekend.
Hmm.
That same day, I went up into the sky. Right. Okay. She's having the party. I'm walking out the door and I get a text message from my cousins. And we're making a few stops along the way. We'll be a little late. See ya in about an hour. I answer right away to make sure that they have this text message and I say, "This is Diana Balls. I'm leaving the house right now. I'm on my way down to Diane Cotter's. See you there." Well, they didn't read the text message. So I get down there. I get a phone call from them. "We're at your house. Where are you?"
Mm.
And I get in trouble. And they start yelling at me that it's all my fault.
Yeah.
Well, now, wait a minute. So then they're angry because nobody's answering their phone at the party. I don't take my phone into a party. When I'm there, I'm with the guests. Any emergency, if this was 1950, I wouldn't know till the party line was clear anyway. So especially since most emergencies are going to occur in an area that I can't get to in an hour. So now they're mad at me because I didn't answer the phone. Well, here's gimpy, limpy me just getting there, carrying my share of the food into the party. The last thing I'm thinking about is my purse or my phone because I'm in a place where ain't nobody going to break into my car. So,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, geez. So we spent a month not speaking.
Oh,
Actually, 2 months. All the only thing that exchanged was happy birthday.
that's so sad because it's
Hmm.
because they cared about you that they were trying so hard, right?
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, they were mad at me.
Well,
It's
yeah,
not my fault,
right. It wasn't. It
right?
wasn't.
So I set the boundary. No, you owe me an apology. I sent you a text right after I'm standing in the door talking into my phone with food in my hand, trying to get into my car. And I'm standing there making sure you got that text immediately. Now, traveling on the road, I'm not going to get anybody's text.
Right.
I have an iPhone, they have a Samsung. It may not cross paths while I'm
Yeah.
traveling south and they're traveling north.
Yeah. Definitely.
So, yeah.
There's a lot that's going on right now, and purging and being aware of other people's feelings and letting them have their feelings, giving them that honor that they can be mad and that's okay.
Yeah.
And we can get
Yeah.
through this.
We'll
Yeah.
get over it.
And sending waves of love to everybody after we vent, but not trying to cover up, right? Not
Right.
trying to cover up the stuff that's coming in. So, yeah, there's lots of different ways to do that. So we can do that by shaking. Somatic shaking is incredible. Um, cleansing, clearing, detox, letting go, shedding like a snake, emotional unwinding, energy clearing, energetic reset.
Yeah. Light a
Uh,
candle to burn the air that I just spoke about. Let me burn
yeah,
that air up.
yeah. Cutting cords,
Hmm.
soul clearing, delayering, which I've got layers on I just unlayered my desk this week, and I think it's already relayered. And
Yeah.
energetic compost. So transforming that old stuff that we hang on to about relationships or friendships, and especially with our family, and changing the names on it. So, such as, and this is a huge trauma trick, is you change the name of, say, somebody that was rude to you at a family function or whatever. And instead of saying, they did this and I did that, you change it to, um, they weren't sure what was going on, and I was completely sure of what was going on, and it changes your power within the story, not power within the relationship, just
Right.
power within the story, and it's all about your story. But yeah,
Yeah.
Mark says, it's been said before, everyone is a garbage truck full of garbage. Just smile and wave. That's my favorite, the
That's
penguins,
right.
right? Yeah,
And
yeah,
like the
yeah,
queen.
yeah. We do get so triggered so easily, and the energy on the planet is triggering people, and and Earth is being triggered too, right? And she's trying to trigger us. I feel like Stefan Burns talked about this morning. That
Yes.
yeah, that that the Earth is triggering us with all these earthquakes and volcanic activity and tsunamis. But you'll notice there has not been a huge loss of life in that. There's
That's
Yeah, the huge losses of life have been man-made with the wars and whatnot.
hmm
So I feel like what she's trying to do for us is wake us up, and I think so many of us here can revert to, or not revert to, but remember times in our lives where trauma has hit,
you
and we'll
know,
think about things differently.
we can look at that as the bloodshed from the wars have stained
Hmm.
the soil. And in what she's doing, whether it's earthquake, volcano, or a flood, is cleansing the soil for the
Yeah,
new earth, of which
yeah,
we will be a member, right?
100%. And I've heard people say that the Arctics are going to be the best soil because they've been iced over for so long that as they start to melt, that's going to be a beautiful soil in the new world that's going to be cleansed. Though there's another part of me that feels like as we get into fifth and sixth and seventh dimension, that we'll just be able to make that intention that the soil is healed and cleansed. And it is so.
And it
So
is so.
yeah,
And yeah, which brings us to keeping track of frequency and vibration
yeah,
for ourselves, and dealing with our human nature, and still allowing space for that, because if we don't, it's only going to end up being another volcano, right?
right, right, yeah. Really holding space for ourselves is so important right now, and holding space for others. And so many of us are working on meditations in the mornings or whenever you do it, and working with the light grid, working with the ley lines, the energy bodies of the planet, and then also working within inner earth. I've been doing a lot of inner earth lately and going within it into the core of the earth in particular. And for years, we've been doing the waters inside the earth, which there's more waters, healing waters inside the earth than on the crust of the earth. But going to the magnetic core of the planet is where we can really let go. And she takes everything, like she helps us with it, and it's huge. I do feel like inner earth is like another universe. And we were talking about this about dream night last night, that there were these cycles going around us of all these animals and also people and planets coming in like a download. And I kept waking up and feeling the download and seeing it. They were showing it to me. And you were saying that it was like Sinbad the Sailor that you were
Yes,
seeing also.
right. He came into mine, and he was just, he had that big regal Regency feather bonnet on, with all the plumage, and ho, 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 and the cavalier boots, and a foot up on the prow, and, the long whale catcher, or whatever that mast, the sail cloth that is held on that mast that usually sits out over the prow of the boat and stuff, and the masthead. And it was, this is an adventure, forward row, or whatever he was saying. And it was it was a great moment. It was a great moment compared to some of the other views that I had that same dream, right?
Yeah, yeah. Um, Mark, you keep catching my eye today. He's saying, I have a dozen turkey vultures circling around my house the past few days. The birds. Thank you for bringing that up, Mark. Um, the birds this week, actually this year, have just been everywhere, the winged ones.
Mm-hmm.
And the big
Mm-hmm.
turkey vultures, the eagles, the hawks. It's been amazing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Though turkey vultures are not raptors, they are in the condor family, right? And they fly higher than our American eagle, and our American eagle can go up 2 miles. These guys can fly higher and still see what they're looking for. Their
Wow.
olfactory, because as a bird, their olfactories aren't what draws them to cleaning up the earth. It's what they see, where the debris needs to be digested. And so they are they're carnivore, but they don't pursue their prey. They eat. What's the word? Another word that starts with the C. Carrion. They are carrion eaters. Eaters.
Is there anything you don't know, Diana?
Well, it was years of rescuing them that brought me to that. Because I
I
did
love that.
rescue raptors, and at one time they were on the endangered species list,
Yeah.
and so they had to be rescued too. Now, they're no longer on the list, as we all can testify, because every state has them. But believe me, they're the garbage trucks. So don't shoot them. It's illegal to shoot them. They're needed. They're necessary. They get the deer on the side of the road, which is the hardest part, is the roadkill that can't move very far, and now they're a target when they're down there eating their fill. The same thing with ravens and crows down there getting some, and here comes a car, bam,
Yeah.
because the sound of a car means nothing to them, you know. I horn blasted, brakes squeaking.
Yeah. Patricia says, I love turkey vultures as their spit acts like an antiseptic. They will spit on themselves to clean themselves up after munching on a dead carcass.
Yeah.
Wow. Patricia, again, somebody that knows everything.
And they're not the most pleasant smelling birds, so it was great when they were taken off of the endangered species list.
Yeah,
you
I
know,
bet. I bet.
that spit isn't it much better than the smell itself.
Yeah, we've got a lot of
They're
wild
another,
turkeys.
and raccoons are very clean. They wash their hands before they eat. They wash their hands after they eat. They go to the bathroom only in one place. It's their latrine. Unfortunately, it could be a crawl space in your basement.
Yeah, yeah. So,
And
yeah,
toxic, it's like going into a guana cave. You need a gas mask. It is E. coli, man, no matter who it comes from, it's still the same thing.
right? Yeah.
This
It's
tough.
it's a lot. Do you wanna read some cards on this?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, let's go ahead and do it. Um, oh my goodness, I did something with these. So, I just wanna say that, anybody that's going through anything, um, feel free to come by for Meditation Tribe if you want to with the chat, or, you do a lot of the Akashic record reading with Linda G and Diane G, and that's huge. Linda D, Linda
Linda
D Gonzalez,
Gonzalez
not Linda G,
and Vivian
and
and Diane
Viviani.
G,
Right.
because then we get together with Diane G and Paul White Dragon with Allie talking about the outer limits and who we are out there and where we've come from.
Yeah. So I'm kind of reading on what's going on the planet right now.
Okay.
That was kind of my intention, and I pulled greed. So, is a lot of it is there's a lot of people that still have that greed mentality that I need this, I need that, I've got to have this, I've got to have a Birkin that costs $140,000 for a purse, or a pair of shoes. So there's a lot of people that are going through that, and they're scared. They're living in fear. So it's okay to watch them as agents of change. Some of them, and just be aware and send them ways of love if you can. There's integration, and I feel like that's our heart integration that we're working on. Again, sending that love and knowing that you're divine, and this too shall pass. It's like we don't have to be in their world. We can be in our own world and in our hearts, loving to ourselves and others. And there might be some frustration. I feel like I go through that every day, and then I realize I'm right where I'm supposed to be,
Yeah.
right? If I don't compare myself, I know I'm right where I'm supposed to be, but it's kind of hard not to. And then finally, this is one of my favorite cards in this,
Oh,
authenticity.
I love that.
So, yeah, just be your authentic self, and be your weird self if you want to be. That's what I like to be.
You know, this is for all of us, but I got to say, it certainly goes along with some of my experiences this morning. So today is the day. It's a time to begin the new journey. And there's that giraffe I love so much.
Oh, yeah.
And even though I'm not exactly sure if that's supposed to be a mountaintop where the sun is just shining on it. When
Wow.
I pull that back a little bit and look at it, I see Mother Mary,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Her figure, and then there's the infant
Yeah.
in us,
Wow.
right? And then the next card was a time to remember. Of course, look back at your childhood. Of course, that was, Tonquish is a big part of my childhood, maybe a past life as well. And then from another deck, what we forgot, we have offerings.
Oh, I love that.
Right? So we have to stand when we have to ask. We present a gift when we ask. We say thank you when we've received. And it's appropriate, if you want, to leave another gift, right?
Hmm.
To make offerings to Gaia all the time because she is always there for us. And we hold the magic. Well, it's possible. We hold the magic. Don't lose sight of that. What you want, you can have. I wanted a turtle rattle so bad, but I wasn't going to pay what a store is asking for. And this was in Virginia, and not having any outlet in order to find Native Americans creating these things and make sure if that's going to be that price, that's fine, but I'd rather make sure you get it.
Yeah.
And make sure it's authentic rather than made in another country and just designed to look like it's something you did. And I, walk in the same place day after day after day. And I would be talking to Tonquish and talking about this turtle rattle and other things. And one morning, early autumn morning, I'm walking, and I should have brought it down here, but I didn't know I was going to talk about it. There, in the middle of my path, is a whole baby snapper, but not much of a baby because it's this big. The only thing missing was one of his legs. His tail, his legs, his head. I brought it home and filled it with beans and had this very straight stick that I actually had glued a crystal onto.
Wow.
And that crystal had broken, but there was still crystal embedded because it was glued inside. So that is the stick. And then my great grandmother, darling Catholic that she is, had a rope that she wore around her waist, a thin rope, but still same a cotton rope. And there were perfectly tied knots spaced apart as a rosary.
Wow. That's so
That's
cool.
that's the binding that holds it all together.
That is amazing.
Aside from where the crystal is glued into the wood, there is no glue on this. And that was one of the moments that I realized. This was right after my divorce, and this was one of the moments that I realized I do have this power. I haven't been making it up all my life. There are rewards for the offerings you give, you get a reward, right? So it's to walk in your path.
Well, and if we acknowledge that, the more we acknowledge it as we're walking in our path, that we are magic and we are treasured and we're worth it, and we'll
Right.
find our gifts. Yeah.
And this is where this last card comes in. It's shadow work.
Oh,
By
yeah.
dealing with our shadows, by revisiting the things that have caused pain. Like I just vented twice today,
Yeah.
as well as having this purge this morning. But I still needed to let that vent out. Otherwise, I know what's going to come back.
Yeah.
And thank you all for listening, right? And giving me permission to do that or
Yeah.
space to do that because permissions. But anyway, so once we deal with our shadow work, remember it's there, but do things to take care of it, pamper it, put it away, take it out when it needs to be dealt with. Each time it gets a little easier.
Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, thank you for being here,
Oh,
Diana. And thank you, everybody here. Turtle Island is Mother Earth. I love that, Barbara. Yeah. So, well, what are you doing next, Diana?
Resting the rest of the day. Maybe
Sure.
I'll be somewhere. I'm turning on the air conditioner. I'm gonna shut devices off and finish what I started this morning. And I gotta do the dishes. I do have to do the dishes. Like, there's only one person here. Where do all these dishes come from?
Tell me about it. Tell me about it. Oh, good. We're gonna do a card for everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, you go for it.
Okay. Higher love. I gotta sing it. Give me a
Mhm.
higher love.
Yeah,
There you go.
beautiful. I love
That's
it.
all of us. I love it too.
Yeah,
We
that's
are
all.
golden.
I got celebration, another song.
There you go. Yeah, right.
Celebrate. Good
Right?
times. So, yeah, I feel like we got this. We've already got it, and asking our future selves and our past selves to come and help us with it. You've got the power. Another song. We can't stop.
Right? We are golden. We are stardust. We are a million-year-old star or carbon, and we've got to get ourselves
Yeah,
back to the garden. Oh,
100%.
yeah.
100%. All right. Well,
Leaving you
everybody,
is the
thank y'all
hardest
for
thing.
being
Leaving you today
Yeah,
will be the thing. I
yeah.
love.
All right, everybody. Have a great day. Namaste. We'll see y'all later. Bye bye.
Namaste. Thank you all.
Thank
Peace.
you.